Hello everyone, I'm Ramneet the founder of the Grace of Mind by Ramneet. And can we all have our videos on and interact for 5 minutes? Thereafter, you can turn your videos off. Hello, I'm unmuting everyone so that you can all speak and we can have introductions before we begin. Okay, you'll all have to unmute yourselves on your own. Hi Sneha, hi Dr.
Hi.
Harvan. If I'm not wrong, you're doctor, right? You're on mute, ma'am. You're still on mute. Meanwhile, maybe Sneha can speak. Hi, Sneha. Hi, Debumita.
Hi.
Okay. So, Dr. Harvandan is also now unmuted. May I have your introduction, ma'am?
My introduction,
A brief of who you are, what are you doing these days as a designation, and how did you come across this webinar, and what makes you come to this? What are you wanting to learn through this? Is there some network issue? A little bit, maybe? Dr. Harvandan? I think there is some network issue. Please check with that. Sneha, can we have your introduction meanwhile?
Yeah, sure. I hope you can hear me.
Yes,
Okay.
I can. Absolutely.
Okay. So I got your, the webinars ad in the psychologist group, and I'm currently working as a psychologist
Okay.
and a wellness coach for
Okay.
Silver Oak Health. I'm basically on-site counselor and psychologist for client Google. So
Okay.
that's about my current role. And I thought in my head it was like, okay, usually my weekends I invest in learning. And it's always nice to have different perspectives and to actually go beyond what you know. And I thought, okay, that the thing that actually caught my eye was the caption of your webinar, conflict management. I was like, wait, I have to know what other people think about it too, right? It's always a learning.
Absolutely.
So yeah, here I am.
Nice to know about your background and how you're working. It's a great initiative that you're taking, working in so many fields on site. Nice. Kashish, we've decided that we'll all turn on our videos for a while and we'll have our introductions. Therefore, we begin. Yes, Harvandan ma'am, please give your introduction now. You're not audible, ma'am. Kashish is there. Hi, Kashish.
Hi, ma'am. How are you?
Yes, ma'am, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good.
हाँ जी मैम बताइए. अब आप अनम्यूटेड हैं, अब आप बता पाएंगे. हरवंदन मैम.
I'm Dr. Harvandan, a psychiatrist,
Nice.
and I believe in doing all the therapies myself.
Okay, wow.
One, it increases the rapport, and second, it gives me a lot of information which I would have missed had I not done the therapy.
Right,
And
right.
learning is a never-ending process.
True.
And psychiatry is my passion.
Wow, I'm so glad to find out about you because I do not think many psychiatrists are counseling and giving therapies to their patients on their own selves. Not many are trained and not many are wanting to do it too. So since you are doing it, it's a pleasure meeting you, ma'am. Welcome to the Grace of Mind. Okay,
Thank
we
you.
move to, you're welcome. We move to Debumita Keshri. Debumita, can you speak? Hi.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
How are you, ma'am?
I am good. How are you?
Hello, am I audible to you?
Yes, 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 you're
I'm
audible.
fine, ma'am. Present. Okay, presently I'm working as a PGT psychology in one of the school in Guwahati, Assam. And regarding the webinar, I got to know from a psychology group. And regarding knowing the things, as one of ma'am told that it is a learning process. Till death, we learn something or the other. So to broaden the mind, and obviously conflict is something, it is a regular basis nowadays. It's a it's a part of my life, or everybody's life. Like conflict is there everywhere. So
Right.
in this sense, how to manage it and what is the actual thing, it's like knowing more about this. For that reason, joining the webinar.
Nice. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Kashrish,
Yes, ma'am.
your introduction, dear?
Ma'am, I'm a student. I'm in second year and I'm a teacher. I take coachings for 11th and 12th class. That's it.
Okay. What subject are you learning?
Ma'am, I'm doing BCom honors right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm a commerce student. Yes,
What brings you here?
ma'am. Actually, yeah, we had a webinar. I had a webinar with you last
Yeah,
time.
the last webinar you attended.
Yeah. So, ma'am, my friend Aditya, he suggested me like go for one more because I
Oh,
have many problems regarding all this. So, yeah,
okay.
he
Some
suggested me.
relationship conflicts you're facing?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. So, as I mentioned on the email, all of you can keep at least one prime conflict which is recurring or having the most importance to you right now. You can keep that in mind or have it written on your notepad or your notebook, whichever you're carrying right now, whichever you're having besides you. And there, once you've written this event, this situation which is creating more conflict, we'll take a one conflict at a time if you do not have any issues, and I will also take you all across the prime probable reasons we are having conflicts in relationships. Relationships are of all sorts. It can be with anyone, not with certain respect to only the intimate relationships, but today in this webinar, managing relationship conflicts, we'll be talking about the intimate relationships that with our partners, who could be in terms of non-married relationship, a married relationship as well, and live-in relationships are also there. So any relationship that you have with your prominent another person. Okay, so before we go ahead, I would give you 2 minutes of time to at least have that situation in your mind so that we can take it up and talk about that. Okay, and if anyone of you has already got their situations in their mind which is ready with you, we can take it up first in the very next 2 minutes. Also, I would like to tell you all, meanwhile, you're planning to write your situation, which is the most recurring or the most primary one we want to deal with. I will also be incorporating some techniques of mindfulness, and I am basically a psychologist. I am a life coach specializing in mindfulness based therapies, and I'm also a corporate trainer. So, my techniques would include some of those of cognitive behavioral therapy, some of those of the hypnotherapy, some techniques from NLP, and some from the mindfulness based therapies. So, it's an integrated approach, integrated kind of methods that we'll be using. Oh, nice. I'm so happy to know that, Dr. Harvandan. Okay, you were not able to hear me earlier. I'm very sorry, I did not see. I hope you can hear me now, Dr. Harvandan. Are you able to hear me? You're able to hear me, ma'am? Please give me a nod if you can. Okay. Right? You able to hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, fine, perfect. So you could hear what we talked about just a moment ago?
No.
Okay, so I have told everyone to keep in mind a situation which is a conflicting situation in their relationships, which is the most prominent right now or a priority to be dealt with, or it could be the most recurring situation as well. So like I gave a message in the email that you should have one situation in mind which you could write somewhere, or just keep it in your mind if you could remember, and that we'll take one by one. You could all tell me once you're done, either in the chat box or verbally. Devumita, you're writing, right? Anyone done yet? Please raise your reaction of hands up if you've done. So all of you who've done, please raise your reaction of hands so I know. Okay. Harvandan ma'am has done. Depamita, do you need more time? Kashish, Sneha, need more time?
No, ma'am, I'm done.
Okay. Should we go ahead? Because Sneha has also done, Kashish also done.
Ma'am, I'm typing in the comment box.
Okay, you're typing. Great.
Yeah.
So we'll take Harvandan ma'am's situation first, should we? Are you comfortable now?
Sure, ma'am.
Harvandan ma'am, can we have
Yeah.
your situation?
Yeah, the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Situation is like this, that my son is in US doing his PhD.
Mm-hmm.
This year I know that I will not be able to meet him. Next year I'm not sure. So in between, at times, once or twice a month, for a few hours to a day, I get very distressed and irritable. Uh, my husband is very practical on the other side. We don't have any major arguments. It just that my mood gets turned off.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, his mood gets turned off.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's trying to deal with it in his own ways. And with his counseling, I settle down exteriorly, but interiorly, there's a yearning to meet my child, which remains.
Okay. So there are both the internal conflicts and the external conflicts taking place.
Yeah.
Some you cannot show and disclose and verbalize, maybe. On the other hand, the same are getting transferred and turning into arguments with your husband, right?
No major arguments, but I start crying and get irritable on small things.
Okay. So, this is one aspect of any relationship which I would like to emphasize. So, most aspects I believe we'll be able to cover with the situations that we take up. In any case, we will be covering every aspect which is important in conflict. So, what is happening here is you are having that grief inside, if I'm correct, and if I'm wrong, please uh, correct me, Dr. Harvandan, because you're more an expert. And in fact, I'm glad that you are a part of this webinar. So, what is happening is transference is taking place because Dr. Hanvandan is already quite upset and has that grief and worry inside her heart that I will not be able to see my child for maybe another 2 years long, right? And when this happens, where will she most likely be going and opening up her heart? Because when you're married, and Dr. Harvandan, may I know how many years has it been that you're married now, if you don't mind? I can't hear you. Wait. मैम आप चैट बॉक्स में लिख दीजिए.
26 years.
Okay, nice. So, once you're married and it has been 26 years, it is most likely that you will not be going anywhere else and sharing about your opinions unless some of us have really good friends, we have family members whom we rely on. तो जो भी ट्रांसफरेंस है, ट्रांसफरेंस मीन्स गुस्सा कहीं का या नाराजगी कहीं की वो निकलेगी सिर्फ एक ही जगह पे, which you know is the softest corner, or maybe somebody who will listen to you. And this does happen when you're in a relationship, because you end up carrying all that load you're carrying from any xyz place. It could be from your daily chores, it could be from your work area, it could be from your personal life issues which you're not actually discussing with anyone in routine patterns. And when you end up discussing, you get all that sorrow, all that grief, all that pain, and all that burden from your shoulders through your words towards your husband, towards your partner, towards your wife, anyone who you are sharing an intimate personal relationship with. And there the arguments come, because when you are transferring your aggression, sorrow, grief, any kind of emotion, any kind of emotional burden, your partner would not know why this is happening. And when that is the scenario, because expectation might be coming ki now we are going to have a peaceful time. For example, I share of a negative experience standing in Harvandan Mam's place for a minute, and it is tea time. So probably Harvandan Mam's husband is right now expecting that we would have a calm chit chat and we would discuss about something, and it would be a relaxing tea time. But since there is a lot of grief pent up in Harvandan ma'am's heart right now, and now she cannot hold on anymore to any of it. She would end up discussions slowly and gradually turn up into a chaos because कहीं expectation positive थी, और जब आपको कुछ और situation के साथ deal करना पड़ेगा तो most cases में आप नहीं कर पाते हो क्योंकि आप expect नहीं कर रहे होते हो. Expectations are one thing we should not have in relationships. The reason being, both the parties have different mindset. So if I expect my husband to treat me in a certain way, besides not having told him that, see, I behave in an agitated manner when I get to deal with a case which is very depressing, and he all of a sudden comes in contact with me and he talks to me and I'm already agitated, how would he know that I am going to be agitated at this point of time unless I tell him? So at times there have to be things which are clear. So whenever we disclose and we talk about some matters of concern which are bothering us, we need to make it so clear and so specific, making the other person realize that yes, this is the reason I'm behaving in this manner and this is why it will happen right now. So the other person knows.
He knows it.
Yeah, he knows it here, I understand, he knows it, but because there is a lot of grief on your part and he is a practical man, he though might be understanding but he will not be able to take the situation into account and deal with it in a more effective manner. So now the argument happens more from your end or sir's end?
Actually, we're both passive aggressive. There's hardly any argument. If he opens his mouth, I'm irritable. Most of the time, he keeps quiet, and I keep quiet, and I cry a lot. Lot means really loudly, and that makes him feel very distressed. And then his mood gets turned off, and I know that he's dealing with the same problem in his own way.
Yeah. So there are two kinds of individuals, no, like you said, passive aggressive. So when you have shown your aggression and grief, he's still taking it in and diving in with all that grief and pain, and he's not maybe discussing about it. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
in the end, how I come out is by his counseling, by his discussion, the practicality of the things. That's what ultimately calms me down. But then this happening at least on an average 2-3 times a month, it's for him difficult to understand that maybe why I go into these situations and why I behave in that manner.
your audio has disconnected, ma'am. Harvandan ma'am, can you hear me? Oh, while we wait for Harvandan ma'am to come, okay, she's here. Yeah, your audio got disconnected, ma'am. Do you remember where you stopped? Are you wanting me to know something? You wanting to express something? Hello? You can hear me? Okay. Harvandan ma'am, are you checking with something? Um, could you all please drop in the chat box what kind of relationships are your situations about? So with Harvandan ma'am, there was a marital relationship issue. Debumita, Kashish, Debumita has typed in the chat box. Kashish and Sneha and Sahib, can you please type in the chat box which relationship you want to talk about? So I know and accordingly I will take it forward. Harvandan ma'am, you there? Are you feeling okay? Are you okay? Are you fine? Can you hear me? Okay. Uh, Guys, you could all please type in your situations, okay? And the more you stay on video, the better it is for me. Debumita, can we discuss about yours?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we will get back to Harvandan ma'am's scenario. Meanwhile, we take up Debumita's so that she is able to connect with her phone. Debumita says that regarding relationship with parents, if any conflict raises in issues, how to manage that. Okay, Debumita, pick up one conflict, one conflicting situation, any specific conflicting situation.
Am I audible to you, ma'am?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, it's like it is a present situation only. Means like we have taken a home and like if for interior decoration, it's a simple one. Like with that means these things are what that in simple discussion we can complete it, right? But the thing comes out in that way means none of them believe means accept each other's word and they start means like quarreling and arguing and I become the thing to what to do and what not to do. Means sometimes if I like the thing is okay I have managed somehow but again they how they start I don't understand in that way their conflict continues.
Okay.
So in that sense what to do.
Okay. So, when parents are actually heading towards one decision which according to them is the best because they have an experience of so many years already, they want things to be done in a certain way which probably you don't want to be done in the very same way that they are
No,
wanting.
it's not parents and me, it's parents and parents. Means both
Parents and
parents
parents, so
and
both your parents are actually
and I
fighting
yeah and I get
over one thing. Okay,
yeah to whom
perfect.
I should support or do or to how to solve them, that is the main thing. Not it's
Okay,
parents, not between me and parents.
okay,
It's
perfect.
parent and parent.
Perfect. So here we'll be discussing some main concerns or aspects which you could be sharing with your parents and let them know ki um, they would understand this is the reason why they are having conflicts and this is the reason why they have opposite thought patterns. So like you said about interior designing, one says do this, the other says do that, and they are both not coming to a common conclusion.
No.
Make them recall how you got married. There must have been some decisions which you needed to make and come to a common viewpoint. All decisions could not have been made in two ends, certainly. Make them
Yeah.
realize, give them any situation, ask them to pick any situation which occurred while they were getting married. So when you get married, there are 10,000 things you need to do, right? From buying your outfits to buying your
Yes. Yeah.
footwear to buying your clothes to getting your interiors done, this, that, whatever. Deciding the venues as well. So ask them what was that one thing in which both you and the other person, so maybe your mom and your dad, had a different viewpoint. And how did you come to a common conclusion?
Mm.
So when you're getting married, two same people can never get married.
Hmm.
Factually,
That's fair.
two different individuals who are north and south poles, if we talk in other layman terms, are getting married because they have different personalities. And when two different personalities get married, only they are able to understand each other.
Yeah.
Why they're able to understand each other? Because if one is a more emotional person, the other one is a more practical person, like we noticed in Harvandan Ma'am's, and which is a
Exactly.
reality. Now, make them realize that when you actually settle down at one particular viewpoint, what did you do? One must have understood the other's viewpoint, and
Hmm.
likewise, right? Here
Yeah.
again, when they are arguing, when you are deciding who to support, make them sit in one place. Let them calm down.
Yeah.
Ask them to temporarily forget about the situation. Once they are both relaxed and calm, because when two people are not calm and relaxed, they are never going to take a wise decision. Okay?
Exactly.
Either take them into different rooms, speak to them, and ask them what is that you want. And then go to the other person and find out what the other person wants. Once you know each of them's point of views, then bring them to a common room and ask them to calmly only let the other person hear. And the other person has to listen to him or her quietly. So, no interference, you have to be the mediator, and nobody else can speak when one individual is speaking. Now, once both of them
Exactly.
knows each other's point of views, you can weigh which one is more beneficial. You can always have the factual presentation of the weightage of what is going to benefit you more and what is going to benefit you less, and then the most beneficial thing is always going to be the decision. Helps. Make them realize,
Yeah.
let them realize that you actually are together because you both have different viewpoints and both are beneficial for all of us. So now let us sit calculatively and factually represent all the viewpoints of each of you and see which one is going to help. Okay, so listening
Thank
patiently
you,
is
ma'am.
one key
Yeah.
aspect in any kind of relationship, which many of us lack because like the times are rushing, growth is taking place, environments are changing, everything else is also changing, and we are lacking that habit of at least sitting down in one place and listening to quietly. So if one parent is speaking, the other tends to speak intermittently, and that leads to a conflict.
Exactly.
So, not listening quietly and patiently becomes another reason of conflict, because when you do not listen to the other person feels that I am not being heard, I do not have enough value, I am not being concerned about, then why do I speak? That person will stop speaking thereon. Then the thoughts come and that suppressed somewhere deep down in our subconscious minds, where the person would not want to bring them forth and discuss about them, because he or she, whoever is in that position, would think that if I share my thoughts, they are going to be useless, they are not going to be taken into account, and hence why do I share at all? Okay, so listening patiently, measuring the practical aspects of any conflicting situation. A conflicts arise where two different kinds of opinions are coming. So one opinion can be favoring a situation, the other can be disfavoring a situation, but they both have to be weighed and checked according to the facts. And the couple has to realize that we came together for this particular reason, that we are not the same, we do not have the very same opinion, but we have understanding that our partner has a greater or the same amount of understanding about a certain situation. And now we have to listen each other quietly. Once we've heard, we can come to any common conclusion. Okay, so now I would move on to
Thank you, ma'am.
Harvandan ma'am. Are you still wanting to speak and continue before I move ahead? You can just unmute yourself if your video is not working fine, if you want to speak, and I hope you're doing better. In fact, yeah, you're there.
Yeah.
हाँ जी मैम, आप कंटिन्यू करोगे जो बोल रहे थे, if you remember where we left, so that
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we left at the point where I get very emotionally disturbed and cry. The arguments are also very silly, like you won't understand, there's no need to talk to me, you're not a mother, stupid things. But for me at that time becomes very overwhelming a situation.
I understand. So right
And
now, हाँ जी बोलिए.
he hears for some time. He knows that that is not the time to intervene. So allows me to ventilate. And then later makes me realize certain things which gradually make me come down.
Okay.
It can last for some time. for a few hours to a day maximum.
Okay. So, Mr.
Maybe
Bedi.
a grief both of us are hiding with,
Mm-hmm.
because for me the wo bhanda phad jata types, no?
I understand absolutely. So, like I just said, the person who's not being heard, or the person who feels कि मेरे तो बोलने से कोई point नहीं है, nobody is going to hear me out or understand me, that could be a practical person, a physical person who's doing that. So there are two kind of individuals: emotional sexuals and physical sexuals, which I'll take up in detail in a minute, in a, let's say, 15 minutes time. While we are continuing with these situations, we would not come up to that. So physical sexual would actually not talk about the things much, but practically deal with situations, like he's listening to you very patiently. So अब ये होता होगा कि वो उनका पेशेंस भी जब सुनने का एक लिमिट क्रॉस कर लेगा, तो he would be like, how can I listen to any more? And then he would take you and console you and give you the practical picture of life. When you say that he counsels you and explains to you, उससे पहले आपका जो blurting होना है वो हो जाता है, you went out. But
Yeah.
if you went out, maybe not in a 15 days time, but on a weekly basis, or 3 to 4 days later, he would listen to you quietly and maybe not react much. Can we try and do that? Because here what is happening is your emotions are piling, and as a result, when the emotions are piled to such an extent that there is no more space in your heart and mind, they come out. When now they come out in a very negative manner. So the negative manner may not be actually negative, but the emotions which are all negative, which are grief, sadness, worrying more about your child, feeling that you're separated from your child right now, you're wanting to meet, so all those kinds of emotions which are not either healthy for you, your child knowing that you're in these emotions, or your husband as well, because it actually disrupts the family life, right? We can deal with that individual in any relationship, in any pair of couple, with the one who is suffering more emotionally. So here you are suffering more emotionally, so being a mother, which is natural for you, but what happens is, especially in Indian societies, I feel, in couples, mostly mothers feel that father को तो कोई concern ही नहीं है उसके बच्चे के बारे में, because I am the birth giver. That is not so. Fathers are all often passive. They're often passive, and they do not express their affections in a direct manner, but in an indirect manner. So unless they were the only bread earners, a mother would not give them due importance, because now all mothers are working, all fathers are working. They would think that the father is not giving so much importance to the child. I'm the only one taking care of the child. I'm cooking food, making him eat, and I'm only offering him love. I'm only making him go to sleep. That is not so, because fathers have a different way of showing love. And in many cases now, if you come to observe, especially in the cases where both the people are working, there are often these couples also where mothers are passive and fathers are more expressive. So both kind of individuals, and in every house, most likely you would notice that there are opposite people who've got married ultimately. And that's how there is a balance which comes. A physical person and an emotional person only make a balance. Unless that relationships do work, but there is a lesser chance of having an equation which would balance every important aspect of your life which is needed. So when we come through it, you would know more. And this aspect, the emotional sexuals and the physical sexuals, the key characteristics which describe these individuals, I'll also be sharing in the workbook. The workbook would take a little longer than tonight's time for being emailed to you all, but then it is going to be very fruitful for everyone. I would make sure of that. Okay. I hope I helped you, Harvandan ma'am. And
You did. Thanks a
and
lot.
you're welcome. We'll also do a small mindful meditation which would help you relax, which would help you all relax and get rid of all those conflicting situations in your mind. Kashish and Sneha. and Sahib is also there. So we have Sneha's situation, which is dealing with a friend who has a calculative approach to everything, and it becomes tough for her to be herself and be more careful on what she speaks to that. Okay, so Sneha, you are also dealing with a person who's a more physically sexual person because he's actually very practical and calculative. So, could you take up an example where it is becoming tough for you to speak and you have to be more careful because he has logic for every other situation? Is it so?
um right, yeah, like, so suppose I have to, like, talk about my day, or probably, I was trying to, console one of my friend, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
very random thing, and sometimes you just want someone to listen to, and it's not like you need someone to give you a solution for, right? And so while you're saying this or narrating an incident, there's so many questions that come up. There's so many questions like, okay, how is this related to that? Like, okay, how is this person reacting this way? And then almost like a judgmental approach, like, okay, fine, this person shouldn't have cried. If I had to be in that person's place, I wouldn't have reacted this way. While I don't know, from my perspective, it doesn't seem right for you to give judgments of that sort. You just need, I mean, I just need someone to just listen to, just mere listening, and not someone who is just being calculative in everything. Okay, fine, and having a question for every little experience that I'm sharing, right? So yeah, that becomes an issue for me too. And then the next time I'm more cautious on, okay, fine, I'm probably not going to share an experience or an incident that I have come across today, and I just tend to be quiet. Or even if I do, I say it in a very logical manner and not the way I would want to.
Okay. So this is a boyfriend or a
No,
friend?
just a friend.
Just a friend.
Yeah,
It's a she or a he?
it's a he.
Okay. So, this is possible in many scenarios because some guys are more inquisitive than the others and they would question you on every bit in order to try and solve your situation, but not understanding unless told that you only want to be heard. So,
Yeah,
here, what you are wanting is a catharsis so that you can vent out all your emotional turmoil and all your burden and maybe whatever you had throughout the day, but this person wouldn't understand unless you explain and tell him that, see, I only, when I speak to you about certain situations, unless I ask you for opinion or I want to be questioned more on a thing because I'm stuck in a situation, I only want to be heard. You will have to actually clarify, tell him verbally, in clear terms. Reason being, nobody on earth is a mind reader.
true.
There is a misconception that psychologists are mind readers. Nobody on the earth is a mind reader. So
Been
when the
dealing with
mind
it.
reading happens, if your friend is asking you a question thinking कि ये हुआ होगा तो mind reading हो जाता है, then we call it mind reading in therapy. Okay?
Right.
So mind reading practically कोई भी नहीं कर सकता है. Nobody can do that mind reading part. You have to always be very specific, very clear, and very firm with what you want to be happening if you want any kind of a relationship to be stagnant and smooth.
True. I mean, if I do agree with it, and which I actually did. I did tell it
Yes,
initially
yes.
that I do need someone to just listen to. I mean, it can also be on from the other way around too. I would want to hear about your experience of the day without any sort of judgments. I just want to have a safe place to talk about, right? And it's it almost seems like it's very natural for him. It's not something that he's even taking an effort to get calculative or to ask all of these inquisitive questions about things. And I feel helpless because I'm like, I don't know if I should tell him not to be himself, or I should just try figuring out by myself. So yeah, that's my question.
That is actually the case, with many individuals who just have a habit of cross questioning. So they are
Yeah.
not doing because they are deliberately putting in an effort to question, but they are in that behavioral pattern. They have that kind of personality to cross question. And for them, that may be a thing or a way out of helping you. but
True.
for you it doesn't work. So you just have to tell him clearly that, see, listen, I need to be heard out, and I feel that this is a free and a comfortable, confidential space where I can talk and feel more comfortable in. So please listen to me, and unless you think that there is a dire necessity of asking me something, please do not do that. So when you tell him do not do that, if he or she is considerate about you, affectionate with you, then definitely this person will not take the next step, or in the next situation ask you about anything that you're telling, unless you ask him to ask you. But when then ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि तुमने बोला कि तुम मुझसे पूछना नहीं, और फिर तुम बोल रही हो कि मुझसे पूछा क्यों नहीं.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he should know in which conversation he has to stay quiet. So while starting, you can always give a disclaimer. So it in relationships to work, see, right now I'm feeling this way, and I would admire if you could listen out to me peacefully for this longer duration, and then you would see what we can do about it.
So
Okay?
it's almost like setting your expectations clear right in
Yes.
the start.
Yes,
then
because
to,
when you expect, naturally the expectations are never going to be met, because obviously we are not mind readers. We do not know what the other person is thinking about, what the other person is wanting from us, and hence everything gets chaos, and things get chaos because of expectations. Then they grow towards conflicts. Okay, अगर दोनों तरफ से expectations आ रहे हैं, okay, tonight we are going out for dinner, and the other one is expecting that tonight we are going to prepare normal dinner, and there has been a norm in the past 2 months that this day, this night, you're always going for dinner. अब क्या होगा, दोनों ने expectations रख ली but discuss नहीं की. Again, now there is a key aspect coming here, which is communication. Clear communication, setting clear goals is necessary in any relationship to not have conflicts, because if you do not have clear communication, wherever a communication gap enters your relationship, the ruining starts slowly and gradually, and you would not even come to know. If you do not talk for one day, even for 15 minutes of duration, and do not share with each other what happened wrong, what was important for you, what do you have to do tomorrow, and you let it be, and then you expect that the other person would know कि मेरे लिए ये important था और मैं ये कल करने वाली हूँ या करने वाला हूँ. What will happen is, उस दिन या next दिन there will be a conflict occurring. And then conflicts will become a natural scenario, and they would reoccur. Then there will be an emotional turmoil situation for an emotional sexual person, and the physical sexual will know his ways of dealing with the situation, and he would stand at bay and not bother much, because he knows कि ये तो हो ही रहा है. वो अपने patterns जल्दी establish कर लेते हैं. ठीक है? Am I being able to help your situation?
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
we know that expectations are a no-no in relationships unless you set clear, defined goals. We know that communication is absolute necessity. We should have no communication gap at all. Of course, unless in some situations it is important to not talk for some reason, it's okay. But then the communication gap should not be a big deal happening over there. Listening is a very important key factor, and the most important is working on your own emotional, mental well-being. In any relationship, if you are not working on yourself, not helping your own selves, not getting into self-help webinars, self-help mental health exercises, or mindfulness is one very effective way, and it has been proven to help couples and relationships improve. So you set a pattern or a norm for each other that this goal or target we are going to achieve together. इस ट्रैक पे हम दोनों साथ चलेंगे. These are the steps that we will take together. So you be together in that for any goal. You decide a meditation or a mindfulness practice, make it a routine, and do it daily together. And if not together in the beginning, if your partner is resistant of that, at least start doing on yourselves, so that eventually you can bring your partner into that practice. The main idea is especially for those individuals who are emotionally more sensitive, they need to work on their emotional and mental well-beings, because unless they do, they would end up speaking out things and doing certain things which are not really appreciable and not going to be expected. Expectations also do not matter a great deal unless you're specifying clearly that this is something you should not expect out of me. But the main important thing is when you're not doing something which is expected to be done in a relationship. So if you blurt out all of a sudden, and maybe you're newly married, your partner would not know why you're blurting out, why you're crying so bad, why you're feeling hurt, and why you're just sitting aloof in a room. Nobody would know. So you have to define certain things. You have to tell the other person certain things before the other person starts to expect of certain parameters and behaviors. Okay, so these are 5 6 factors that we've discussed by now. I would now move forward to Kashish. Okay, we have Sahib who's saying that me and my girlfriend eventually were very happy and understanding, and it's hardly been 8 months and we have started to argue already, which leads up to verbal spats, and more often, how can we overcome the situation? And he has also said that he can relate to the situation with that of Harbandhan ma'ams and that of Devamita. So he will take it into future consideration. Yet, obviously, again, here, if there is a communication gap, lack of defined goals, lack of speaking to each other on a routine basis and telling your own concerns, not listening peacefully, letting judgments come in, verbal spats eventually come, because if you expect something out of the other person and do not know whether the other person is capable of meeting the expectation or whether or not I should be expecting this. So for example, you know that your partner is an emotional person and he or she would cry watching any sensitive movie or any movie which has more than emotional events happening. That becomes a normal expectation that your partner will cry or either have a bad mood after watching it, because you know it out of pattern. But unless you know the patterns of behaviors of your partner, you cannot expect anything to happen, and you better not. Rather, put it clear towards your partner. Ask your partner, what are your choices? What do you like? What do you not like? What patterns of behavior are followed in such a scenario and what patterns are not followed in such a scenario, so you know each other better. We grow together, we learn together. It is not only said that we grow together in relationships, especially in couple relationships and marital relationships, but also because you learn things, you learn so many things from each other, you learn over time while meeting your own goals. And only when you grow together, when you know that the growth of the other person is going to influence yours and your growth is going to influence the other person, you will grow both physically, mentally and emotionally together, and that would actually make you more strong about each other, and the conflict is a lesser possibility. Obviously conflicts are also important, so when we are discussing about managing relationship conflicts, we are not saying that conflicts are a complete no. They are an important part of life, but as long as they're only arguments which are practical and reasonable arguments. So when one person is only listening and the other person is only quiet and then they are coming to a conclusion, it is okay. Not a big deal. I hope I gave you your answer, Sahib. And now, Kashish, you've been waiting for pretty long perhaps. I'm stuck in a situation where my ex-boyfriend wants me back and I'm happy in my life right now, and his interference in my life is bothering me. Okay. Kashish, if you're comfortable speaking a little bit more about it, please come forward.
Okay, ma'am. Last year I broke with him. I broke with him last year, and after that, it happened after my dad's death. So when I lost my dad, uh, I was replacing my dad. You know, it was like I was placing in my family frame. the space which, it was like, can't speak, man. Like, this thing is hurting me now.
Okay, wait. So just keep the situation in mind, okay? I'll give you my piece of advice right now, my piece of suggestions, not even advice. If you're stuck in such a situation where your ex-boyfriend is wanting you back with him in a relationship, one question I would like to ask you is, why are you still in terms with your ex-boyfriend? Is he still a friend to you?
Ma'am, he from the right now I'm dating someone else, and एक साल तक he was like, I was not in touch with him, but when he got to know that I'm dating someone else, he's chasing me now, like, come back, I want you, I want you. It's like he saw that I'm happy, so now he's like, I want you back, now just come back
Okay.
to me. And I don't know what's wrong.
Can we primarily block this person out and not let him contact you anymore?
Ma'am,
Is
I've
he
reached.
molesting, or is he harassing you of something,
No,
or
ma'am, like that.
enforcing you to be in relationship back?
No, ma'am. He's just requesting me. Like, when I used to block him earlier, so it was like, yeah, you blocked me, fine. You will unblock me on your own, and then I will text you. And now, if I block him, he calls me from everybody's phone, different numbers. He use like, जो भी source उसको मिले ना, he will try to contact me.
Okay. So
So it
Kashish,
happens that way.
okay. One thing, Kashish, I would like to take you on one-to-one session as well with your
Okay,
situation,
ma'am.
because it is a little more complex than you're displaying, or maybe we can
Mhm.
all see. And in a limited frame of time, we'll not be able to actually
Yeah.
solve your issue. Okay? So if you feel comfortable today, tomorrow, day after, or in the following week, any day, just reach out to me, take some time from me, and
Okay, ma'am, for sure.
take a personal session. Meanwhile, what I would recommend you is weigh both the characteristics of your past relationship and today, and what you want, and why are you still catering to the other person's messages. In the last session, when we spoke about mindfulness more than relationships, if you remember, mindfulness is actually about focusing on the present, not focusing on the past or
Yeah.
future, non-judgmentally, with all your conscious awareness. Okay? So if it was a person who was there in your past and who's still bothering you, let us not focus on him specifically if this person is no more important to you. Now, I would take you all through a small mindfulness exercise of 5 minutes. Uh, Before we begin, I would like you all to sit down in a comfortable position, whichever means comfortable to you. You can rest your arms aside, you can rest apart your legs, you can have your uh, spine bone inclined, reclined, relaxed, lie down, whatever makes you feel the most comfortable. And as you are guided through this meditation exercise, as you will be told, you should at least try to follow the instructions. So, towards the end of the meditation, you will be guided to speak out some words or smaller phrases. You have to do that too. You have to repeat that. I would not repeat them with you, because if I do, then there will be a voice interruption and you may not be able to hear clearly of what the audio is going to say. So just repeat it to yourselves aloud, clearly, so that your mind can hear. Mind we want to hear because there is a strong bridge between our unconscious and conscious mind. If you can all see me right now, this is your conscious mind, this is your unconscious mind, and there is a bridge. This bridge is your subconscious mind, which has stored all your important values. The values which will right now be entering your mind are that you have to be loving, you have to be kind to yourself, to that of your partner, you have to listen carefully, you have to be a patient listener, you have to have communication. So all of these are going and stored in our subconscious mind. So when I know, for example, that I am not going to be able to attend this seminar tomorrow, and I tell my mind I will not be able to attend, I will never be able to attend, because I am telling my mind constantly कि मैं कर ही नहीं पाऊंगी तो मैं कर ही नहीं पाऊंगी, and if I tell my mind कि मैं ये कर पाऊंगी तो मैं वो कर पाऊंगी. So this is how our mind is trained. We'll talk a little more about this too. Now आप आंखें बंद भी कर सकते हो और खोल भी सकते हो. You all have the freeness to open your eyes or close yours. Here we begin.
Find a comfortable but alert position to sit in. And once you find that position, readjust yourself a bit and then gently close your eyes. Now begin to tune into your body and, in particular, tune into your breath. Notice where in your body you can feel your breath. Perhaps you feel it in your chest area or your stomach. Notice your breath as it causes your diaphragm to rise and then to fall. As you become aware of your breath and as you notice yourself breathing, now follow your breath through the complete cycle of inhale and exhale. Follow your breath as it enters and travels to your lungs and to your body. And then ultimately exits through your nostrils. As your mind wanders, gently refocus your attention on your breath. Your mind wandering is an opportunity to practice this gift of self-redirection. It's an opportunity to practice mindfulness. Now place your left hand over your heart and set the intention to be kind to yourself. Repeat the following. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. Now bring to mind someone you love, perhaps a partner, a child, a parent, or a friend, and repeat the following. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. Next, bring to mind someone with whom you've experienced conflict. Once you have that person in mind, repeat the following. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. Now bring to mind the image of a stranger, maybe someone that you passed in the store or on the street, and repeat the following. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. So now within your mind's eye, pan back in and see yourself as an integrated part of the world as a whole, connected to every living creature, every living human being. repeat the following. May we be happy. May we be healthy. May we be at peace. May we be happy. May we be healthy. May we be at peace. May we be happy. May we be healthy. May we be at peace.
Slowly rub your palms against each other and then place them over your eyes and open them wide awake. Once you're all wide awake and feeling better and relaxed, or however you may feel, respective of your own personal feelings and emotions, I would like to see the faces of all of you. And if then you would want to share any of your experiences, slowly then we move ahead. Harvandan ma'am is here. Are you feeling good? Is there any change? Slowly, whenever you feel ready to share, whenever you feel ready to show your face, just before you open your eyes, if they were closed at all, rub your palms against each other and take that warmth over your eyes. Place it over your eyes in a slow, gentle manner and open them up. Are we ready? Okay. Sneha, Debumita, Kashish, are you all ready? Can we have your images, please? Videos on.
I'm there.
Beautiful. Beautiful. How are you feeling, Kashish?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better.
Better? You were able to connect with the audio?
Yes, ma'am.
Sneha?
Yeah, much better. I mean, I think it's all the more so difficult to pass love to someone who probably is a stranger, or who you do not have a good relationship with, right? It's the most difficult part, but I think when you have in mind that you're doing it for your own peace and not just merely for someone else's, it's more rejuvenating that way.
Wonderful. Such a beautiful experience shared. Harvandan ma'am?
Actually, I do mindfulness daily.
Wow.
I just
You were
love it.
able to connect.
Yeah.
Nice. So you were able to connect with the loving kindness meditation as well. You were able to follow.
Yeah.
You've done this one before?
Exactly this one, no. But I do mindfulness daily. Exactly this one where he's saying to be happy, healthy, and all that. That one, no. But other techniques also, other people get it done, and it's so relaxing that I do it daily.
Nice. So this one was a loving and kindness meditation practice of mindfulness. Debumita, share your experience, please. Sahib has shared that he's feeling relaxed and can sense some sort of positive vibes with him. Okay.
It really relaxed our mind.
It did?
Really.
Okay. Nice
All
to
the tensions, all the griefs, all the things are like washed away.
Wonderful. So this is what is important for us to do. Reason being, when we actually are more mindful and are good within our own selves, our mental health are sound and happy. we are able to focus on the here and now, what is happening right now. And we do not bring in the picture what happened somewhere in the past or what might happen in the future. Of course, you do need to have certain defined goals, even which are set and specified in the future times. But only when you're walking towards the goal together will you know that walking in together in that frame of mind for one goal, you are in the very same boat. You're rowing the same boat. You are both in the same emotional frames and in the same mindsets. So it is relatively easier to tally the thoughts of each other and realize that I am not the only one in pain. Okay, so I would now discuss about some points which you could all make a note of if you wish to. So the prime reasons of failure in any relationship are that we judge our partners on the basis of our own behaviors. Then we expect them to behave like us, which is obviously not natural, taking communication for granted. So, like I said, communication gap is a complete barrier and a complete no-no. Okay. So, for example, a couple would spend 3 to 4 hours every day, or let's say 3 to 4 times a week before they get married. And after they get married, they are staying together for 24 hours each day. Now it becomes difficult. Why was it difficult earlier? Because when you are not married, when you are not actually settling down with each other, you are all only focusing on the traits which were roofing on the surface. So if you are good at a certain hobby, that would be more prominent. If you are good at talking, that would be more prominent. But deep down, if you have some weak points or some positive points which were not earlier known, they all come getting unleashed slowly and gradually after you getting married. So when you're staying together for lifetime, what can be done? Now we come through that. There are rules for communication. Never ever use the term you to signify about any situation where you think a conflict will arise. And the conflict will arise if you say, I had a bad day because of you. So you had a quarrel in the morning and you say, I had a bad day because of you. The rest of your office day must have gone bad. But क्योंकि quarrel morning में wife के साथ या husband के साथ हुआ तो दिन मेरा बुरा आपकी वजह से हो गया. That's wrong. You kept me waiting and I was feeling insecure standing here waiting only for you. Again, the you statement is being repeated. Instead, if you say, I have been waiting for quite long and I was feeling insecure waiting over here. Now your partner would feel that waiting is actually a tedious thing, an insecure thing, and he or she would actually be sorry about it. But rather आप उन्हीं के ऊपर guilt डाल दो और blame डाल दो. So when the guilt trip also begins, again a problem begins. So again, focusing on here and now is important. Consciously knowing what you're saying is important. Partners who are consciously attracted to the surface traits, their expectations always revolve around the surface traits. So, and this actually ends towards leading greater problems in life. Rather, if you are at least knowing the realistic, simple lives of the individuals, of your partners, it would be an easier sale. If not easier, at least the relationship would be a success. It is healthy to say that you forgot something and can you please put that cup in the sink? Your partner would say, okay, I will just do that. I'm sorry, I forgot. But rather, on an unhealthy note. So this was a healthy note of behaving with your partner, a healthy communication pattern. But if you end up saying that you forgot something, as always, you put your cup into the sink for once, you give me a chance to not get mad at you. This is an aggressive manner you're talking in. And if you talk in this way, what will happen is the very next moment there will be a conflict for that tiny bit. And many couples actually come across for counseling कि मेरी तो छोटी छोटी बातों पे लड़ाई होती है, there is no main reason, there is no greater cause for our quarrels and conflicts, बस मैंने ये चीज उठा के वहां से वहां नहीं रखी तो लड़ाई हो गई. He came in late and I did not give him food which was cooked early, but I did not heat it up and उसमें लड़ाई हो गई. So these trivial things are always, not always, but in many cases, the reasons for conflicts. Again, do not focus on you, focus on I, focus on specifics. So if your partner tells you that I did not like your behavior, and you stop and ask your partner, could you please specify and tell me which behavior of mine did you not like? So when you ask for specification and you know which specific behavior you did not get delivered in a good manner or your partner did not like, you could at least change it, modify it, and work on it in the next times, right? So again, working on specifics become important. Then indulge into a feedback loop. Every time you do something new or something which you're not sure about, or maybe you think that your partner should be giving you a feedback on, ask your partner, can you please let me know how I went about it? Did I do anything wrong, or how did I do it right? Just some kind of feedback which should be shared with you, because that not only strengthens your bonds of communication, but also lets you know if the other person had some expectations which you did not meet today, and now you can specify that this is the way I work, and I would just like you to understand and realize that this is how I work towards a certain goal, and if you could please understand and not expect in the next time, so that the expectation would change, the understanding of the mind reading would go vanishing, but there will also be a positive understanding towards you that this is how you work. Or if even a positive feedback is coming, for example, you cooked a new dish today and asked your partner about how it went, and he takes out a smaller element which was not really perfect to taste, but the overall feedback was that it was excellent and it made the person feel really overwhelming. How would you then feel? You would feel relaxed, you would feel better, you would feel calmer and happier. Because the feedback journey, even if you give a negative feedback and help your partner in, let's say, a task on the computer. So one of the partners is not a really tech savvy person, but you are, and you help your partner do those technology activities in a better manner, and let him or her know that this is where you've been going wrong, but this is how you can do and lead to the right track. Again, the feedback loop is going to strengthen the communication patterns and bonds. Okay. What we've left now is the emotional sexuals and physical sexuals characteristics. Do you all want me to go about that? Do you want to know some of those inputs? Okay, I'll go through some of them. Give me a moment, because not always all people are interested in knowing these characteristics. Reason being, they are a little more technical. Not everybody can understand them at one go. Yet going about is something which we can do. Also, I can give you one more technique of going about situations which are often distressing. So you have just encountered any kind of a negative situation. So negative situation for me could be having failed an exam, which was necessary for my CPD, the continuous professional development, and I am feeling grieved inside, but I want a solution to deal with it. So that situation, I visually, Harvandan ma'am knows mindfulness, and if you all also go to my YouTube channel, you would know some bits of mindfulness exercise. How I go about this practice. It is known as a swish technique. This technique emphasizes on replacing a positive situation, a positive image, a positive event with a negative one. So this is a negative event and this is a positive event. What I want to now do is I want to contain and uh, magnify the emotions which are all positive in this positive event or situation with me. And this is a negative situation or negative event which is actually feeling me more devastating than ever before. So this event I want to completely be vanished or just not in my memory anymore. I would visualize this situation as this right now. With all my five senses, I would experience it. With my vision, I would see, I would hear it, I would have the sense of smell if any was there in that event. I would then let my senses experience any kind of touch if I could have in the situation, and taste if anything in the situation or event would make me feel the sense of taste. Once I have this experience fully in my memory, I recall it, and now slowly and gradually I want to squeeze it visually. So when you do it visually, it takes a little harder at all because you will be doing it on for the first time. But once you do it, it is really easy and really successful. You turn it into a really tiny dot, a tiny dot as tiny as the pen's nib, and even tinier than that if possible. And you drag it towards a corner in front of your memory, in your mind. Corner so that your mind can see it the least possible. Just so much that you want to erase its presence, you want to hide it from your vision, hide it from your memory. Now, this positive image or event you would magnify slowly and gradually. And once this is magnified, on this dot you bring this and place it over the negative one. For the positive, again, you have to imagine, visualize, feel with all your five senses, the sense of smell, taste, touch, hearing, and seeing it. Once you've done with complete imagination, once you actually place this over this tiny situation, say swish. So now you've replaced. And Kashish, did you do this last time? Did I make you do
Yes,
this
ma'am.
last time?
In the last webinar,
Yeah,
ma'am, I don't remember much.
not
No,
this one.
ma'am. No,
Okay.
no, not this one.
So this exercise, the swish exercise, actually has a greater significance, and it has been proven to give a lot of results. I had a client who had a shoulder pain rising because of imagining the negative situation in her life. And when she actually went through the mindfulness exercise and did the swish practice, her shoulder pain went off the moment she did it. So it is that powerful. And this is a self help technique for all of us to help our own selves so that our pent up emotions do not get released on our potential partners. Because when we release our energies, which are negative and painful, on our partners, they do not necessarily know why this is happening. Like I gave the example of my day went bad because of you. So you only had a small quarrel with your husband or your wife in the morning, and you had a bad day at office because probably you were carrying those negative emotions, or for any other reason in your office your day went bad. But you take it out and transfer it as a reason to your husband or your wife, that gives a negative signal to your relationship, and that slowly cause conflicts. Okay, so these are all those various aspects that we have encountered and dealt with. uh, Harvandan ma'am, have I been able to give you some inputs, because I actually saw that you wanted to help those patients with marital discord through my webinar. Have I been able to help you with some techniques?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks a lot from my patient side and me.
You're welcome. You're most welcome. I'll be more than delighted if I can actually help you, and you can always turn up to me. So I am there on Instagram as the Grace of Mind by Ramneet. I do have my personal account as well as Coach Psychologist Ramneet. Grace of Mind is an initiative mainly to help individuals around with all the techniques that I know, so that we can reach out to a greater population. Life coaching, again, if you're aware of, not many people know till date. Only few of them know that life coaches exist, and coaching is a little different from counseling. Also, I'm there on YouTube, so all my webinar recordings are going on the YouTube channel. I'm going on YouTube channel with certain topics as live too, and I'm there on Facebook as well. So tonight, I will be emailing you the recordings. Most likely you will receive your workbooks, which certifies your presence in this workshop, your participation in this workshop and webinar, by tomorrow morning, not today evening, because although we have it ready, we have a set of mindful exercises that you can all do for your own help. But I think I want to give you a little more that you could use in your own relationships, so that the conflicts which occur and you encounter the reason of conflicts, it is way more smoother to help your own selves resolve those conflicts, right? So that's what I want to deliver. And one will be the emotional sexuals and physical sexuals characteristics. I would want you all to rather read through it, because it is a little complex. And then if the interest develops for at least 5-6 of you participants, then I would take up a separate webinar only talking about the different kinds of individuals that we have in any kind of a relationship. Okay, hope that helps. Hope I have not left anything uncovered, and this is something of good fruitful note to all of you.
Absolutely.
So it is 6 o'clock and we can wind up. But before that, let's have a question and answer session. If you want to ask me any questions, you are most welcome, and also your feedbacks.
I want to ask how many sessions on an average you take for marital discord?
For marital discord, I have not taken any session as of yet. But for relationship issues, most likely in young adulthoods, I'm taking. For those, I'm taking sessions, and for the past 3 years, I have taken many cases for that.
So how
Not
much time?
marital
How many
discord.
sessions it takes on
Okay,
an
how
average?
many sessions? See, in life coaching, as a life coach, we have a norm of taking 8 minus 2 or plus 2 sessions. The first session is always a free consultation. And so 8 sessions have to be there anyways. And mostly for couple counseling or marital counseling, I think it does go to the 8 plus 2 sessions level only. No lesser than that, because you explain them the entire pattern of how your mind works. You show them the entire characteristic patterns, you take their inputs, you help them resolve their own conflicts. Because कई बार होता है कि एक क्लाइंट का अपना ही कॉन्फ्लिक्ट कई ज्यादा मेजर हो जाता है, which is intruding into their relationships and then leading to more conflicts. And फिर दूसरे एंड में दोनों को ही काउंसिल करना, दोनों की ही कोचिंग करना, दोनों को समझाना, और फिर इंडिविजुअली सेशंस लेना. सो इट बिकम्स अ लॉन्गर पैटर्न.
Yeah. You had an experience of your clients going into a major fight right in front of you?
Not right in front of me,
No.
but होता है, because it is actually a little challenging task if you have a couple in front of you and दोनों से same time पे बात कर लो तो, because they end up having a quarrel right in there. I have observed people having a quarrel where I have not dealt with them at the very same time. But yes, they indulge into a quarrel right there. In fact, साइकाट्रिस्ट के पास भी जब लोग जाते हैं, अगर कपल चले जाते हैं तो वहीं पे उनकी छोटी मोटी आर्ग्यू हो जाती है ऐसी, because one has something else to say and the other person has some other opinion. कई बार एक unleash करना चाह रहा होता है, दूसरा छुपाना चाह रहा होता है, so that stays. You are dealing with marital discord patients, no?
No, every type. So marital also
Type.
comes.
Mm-hmm.
Usually how they come is that one of the partners goes into, say, a depression or something.
Mm-hmm.
And when you dig it up, then you find the reason. And you have to treat the root cause, not just give the drug.
True. Very
So
true.
we don't get, usually we would not get a direct marital discord, but we would dig it out
Yes,
from the
yes,
mental disorders
yes.
that people are suffering.
I understand, because often at times the cause of depression is also marital discord, which starts early off after the marriage, and which ultimately leads to, because of sustaining and suppressing so many emotions. Again, with the cognitive hypnotic coaching, we actually dig down deep and release the patients with all of those thoughts and deep rooted, suppressed and repressed thought patterns. That is quite a job, but yes, that helps patients a lot.
For me, marital discord is the most dreadful thing.
I know, I understand.
You yourself drained at the end of.
I understand. Any more questions?
I had a question, and
Yeah.
this was like on a more of a professional and personal level.
It's
Is that
okay.
when you are like dealing with, since you're dealing with a lot of issues, and your image as a profession is someone who is naturally, who is understanding, right? That's what your job is. So sometimes does it happen that even your family is also expecting you to play the same role, and sometimes it becomes difficult for you to just be yourself? Are those expectations sometimes becoming a problem at home too? Because when in a conflict at home, you're just reacting the way you would as a person, and then you're like, probably you're questioned on how is it that you're being this when you are as a profession supposed to be an understanding person. And this is just a question that I would want to ask.
Okay. So I understand that being in this kind of profession, being a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a therapist, a life coach, all of a sudden, or maybe because we've been studying for so long, we've been practicing with patients, and in fact, normal human beings, just as friends, we are helping around everybody. I know, because only when there comes a desire to help individuals do you come into a profession, that of mental health service. But yes, it does arise to everyone maybe कि तुम तो psychologist हो, तुम्हारे साथ ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है, why do you not understand me, तुम ऐसे कैसे behave कर सकते हो, at least you should be able to deal, तुम तो खुद doctor हो, and all of those things. They do exist, but the prime thing being that we're all human beings, and when we are all human beings, we all have the same kind of nature, we have the same roots, we have the same kind of behavior patterns being given by God to us, and we do tend to lose our own calms and controls and our professions, because when we are inside the home, when we are around others who we love and who love us, and if that's our comfort zone, that is our space of trust and confidentiality, we will behave in whatever way our soul wants us to. We cannot always be a psychologist, because then that makes us superficial and we cannot behave the way we want to. And if we today not behave the way we want to, when you're growing up, you've just become a psychologist, or it has been 5-7 years of being a psychologist or a life coach, you would end up being in that pattern of psychologist wala hi ek aura. Obviously that aura is also there for some individuals because they are by nature that way, which is okay. बट ठीक है, ये आता है, वी कम अक्रॉस कमेंट्स विच से कि तुम ऐसे कैसे बिहेव कर सकते हो, तुम हर एक को कैसे समझ सकते हो, भी आता है. Why can you understand everybody else's behavior when I cannot understand everybody else's behavior? is not always taken for granted, right?
Yeah.
But that is a natural part of life, especially for us. And if we do not deal with that, nobody else is want to deal with that.
Yeah, at least I think it's a relief to know that, we're all sailing in the same boat and
We
I'm
are
not alone.
actually in the same boat. We are actually in the same boat. So debunking the myths like that of psychologists, read mind, we cannot go to them if we are not mad. So many other myths have been debunked by so many of new psychologists. Budding psychologists are doing a great job. I'm so happy to see them all. Although some of them are making mistakes as well, but that is again a part and parcel of life. We learn through mistakes. It's okay. Any other questions? Devomita, Kashish? I'm present because of network problem. I switched off the video. Okay. No other questions? Can we wind up for the day then? Okay. So before we wind up, I would just like you all to please show a thumbs up if you're happy and a thumbs down if you're not, and then I will take a screenshot. Okay, and when I tell you, I'll just say 3 and then we can all give a thumbs up. Okay, can we have the video on for whoever it is possible so that it looks a more beautiful thing to have on screen? Sneha, is it possible for you, dear? Okay, fine. Beautiful faces. So we take the screenshot now. 1, 2, 3. Devumita, thumbs up. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much. Please stay connected. Please keep watching videos on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channel. I keep posting good stuff for mental health as per the best of my knowledge and awareness. And I will also have another series of relationship conflicts workshops very soon. I will plan it and I will post you all with that. Till then, take care, keep smiling, and stay safe.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Nice meeting you all.
Same here.
Bye-bye. You're welcome, Sahib. Bye-bye.